it begin. Let's turn you on. Are you suitably turned on?
Oh, hello. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I just need to turn you up at this.
Mr. Pickles was saying nasty things about you.
Was he?
Yeah.
Classic Pickles move.
Just remember, Mr. Pickles, your character has 2 arms.
Yeah.
There's always the other one. Always the other one. Hello, everyone.
Does that mean he's got 3 arms?
Yeah.
He's got 2 arms, and then there's the other one.
And then, he's got 2 arms. One that is quite... is one of your arms badly damaged at the moment?
It's a major wound.
Yes. So hello, everyone. Welcome.
Hello.
You are here watching us playing a fantasy role-playing game called Mythras. It's based on a percentile dice. It has no class systems in it at all. Characters can have any skills that they wish. There's magic, which can be extremely powerful, but instead of having clerics, we have theists. Instead of having wizards and sorcerers, we have sorcerers, and then we have animists that we don't have any on, mystics, and then fighters, etc. So the party is made up of a sensible mixture, I think the word is. And we left them last adventure in a rather interesting situation. But before I tell you about that and we start tonight's adventure, I'll allow the players an opportunity to say who they are and who they will be playing tonight. Off you go.
Hi guys, I'm Longshanks EPG. Tonight I'm playing Hengist. Almost forgot his name then, that's bad. He is a warrior of noble birth from a land far, far away, not anywhere near Odest or Lindowe. He's come over here after his sister was kidnapped on her wedding night by a group of mysteriously cloaked and hooded figures bearing the emblem of a twin-headed snake. And he's been on tail of them ever since, and all along the way he's had many adventures, met up with this motley crew, and has also now been swept up on an even bigger quest to save the world from the evils of chaos and the Chaos Mother. And I'll pass it on to whoever's next. I can't remember.
I feel like it's Mr. Pickles, and if it isn't, then I'm just going to take over. I'm Mr. Pickles. I play Bartleby Fumus, which is our theist kind of character of the group. I have a theist build, a civilized kind of priest. I serve the goddess Amriel, who covers the light moon, healing, calming, repairing, protecting, all sorts of good stuff. For skills, Bartleby can read, has knowledge of monsters and history, and he does have some street skills and speech abilities.
He can strum a good instrument as well, I think.
He could. I think he needs Hengist to hold the lute now. If I'm
but maybe together you could do it.
Well, yeah, because we each have one arm.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a perfect combination. That'll get the people throwing coins at us in the tavern. Anyways, Bartleby can work some miracles, which are separate from his magic points, just to differentiate himself from how wizards work. Use minor prayers on. With that, I'm going to toss the microphone on over to...
Me, thank you. I'm Medivak and I play Hazra Khan. He's a nomad from the steppes. He's the group scout, the forager, the wilderness expert, and he's recently joined a brotherhood, or the brotherhood, we shall say, which is a semi-secretive group that notes and watches over the changes in the nature and how people affect the surroundings they move into, and how creatures affect things like nature and the changes through various biomes and whatnot. So, and with that, he joined this group on while helping out a count, and he's following quite nicely with them. He rather likes them all, and his main priority is to keep them alive and hopefully get these magical items off, or these strange items, should I say, off Mr. Bartleby. Yes, and that's it. With that, I shall pass it on to Chugga Wugga.
Did you not leave me last adventure and run off into the forest?
Yep. Because you're a
Fight them
loon.
all.
Because you were like, I'm going to go back. I'm like, good luck with that.
Hi guys, I'm Jugglegut. I play Gulliver, who is the youngest member of this party. He's in his late teens. He's ginger with a freckled complexion. He's a sorcerer or an apprentice sorcerer, still trying to gain the ranks within his order, which is the Order of the Kraken. One of the 4 sorcery orders on Odis. The Kraken Order specializes in spells involving communication, transportation, and teleportation. He also has a lot of minor spells, which he classes as cantrips, which are based around the folk magic spell school in Mythras. And I shall pass on to Inwells.
So let me just give you a quick rundown of the story so far. The party have been hired by Lord Drystan to venture into the Frog Fen because a group of batrachians have been ransacking the local farmsteads recently, and during what appeared to be some kind of celebration, made off with some of the farmstead members, including Lord Drystan's daughter and her handmaiden. The party ventured into the Frog Fens, and after sort of like avoiding trapdoor spiders, swarms of insects, and a batrachian patrol, they stumbled across the batrachian camp, where they appeared to be giving the villagers up a sacrifice to a huge black eel-like creature that erupted from the black water. They were quite shocked by this, but luckily for them, the batrachians, after this religious rite, started to engage with various drugs, drink, and probably some vile habits, which allowed the party to creep around to a strange looking tower that was half sunken into the swamp. The actual tower itself, one of the party members or 2 of the party members suddenly realized was not of this land. There were strange rocks in there that they had never seen before. The party ventured into the tower, and after examining various rooms with strange, almost like alien artifacts and hospital items and things like that, they came across the central tower, where they managed to kill not only the guards but the chief of the batrachians, and I think Hazra managed to do that with one careful, well-placed thrust of his spear. On the way out, however, Bartleby decided to take some of the black water and in a little vial, and was promptly attacked by eels. Hazra held off the eels, the black eels, as the party made their escape, and they arrived outside the tower at the beginning of the last adventure. Since then, they have managed to rescue the prisoners after trying to go stealthily through the camp. Some of them very successful, others less so. They managed to actually get to the point of escape. However, it was then that Gulliver had found an egg, a marble egg, with strange etchings on it that seemed to, when he held it aloft, command the amphibians, the batrachians. He also then had a weird sensation that the black eel-like creature was asking to be freed. At that point, the rest of the party, Hazra, Hengist and Bartleby, headed off, leaving Gulliver to hold the narrow way. Luckily for him, Briar, the Lord Drystan's daughter, and 2 of the farmstead people returned to Gulliver, and Gulliver instructed them to go back into the tower and get the young of the black creature. They did this and emptied the young back into the black water, and there was a bond farewell as the original mother, now reunited with its young, became joined up once more, and then disappeared, almost like phased walked away, and the black water just became muddy, dirty swamp water. At that point, Briar and the two farm people came back to Gulliver, and we ended last week's adventure with Hengist, Bartleby and Hazra heading off into the forest, and Briar turned round to Gulliver and put her hand on his shoulder and said, "Let's go home." And that's where we ended it last time. So I'm going to jump straight down. Oh, sorry, does anybody have any questions or anything they want to run past me before we start?
Yes, just to double check. So Hengist took a lot of damage in his arm. So he's got -9 on it, and he's got a max of -10. So does that mean he can't use his arm?
At the moment it's not usable. You've got a major wound, so you can't even enter combat at the moment. Anybody else, any questions?
I'm the same, but I think, didn't I do a first aid on my leg?
I think
so
everybody...
That's -1 and my first aided it, so...
Yeah, so that would have stabilised it. Okay, brilliant. So first up then, let's go to Bartleby, Hazra and Hengist, because at the end of the last adventure, before Gulliver and Briar and everybody sort of like came back, you guys had headed off into the swamp, and I noticed that Bartleby's got 5 people from the farmstead with him, because I can see a little counter on him that says 5. So, and you would have heard Gulliver say something. I think he says, "Oh, what should I do? You're going to leave me," or something like that. And that is when Briar and the farmstead people came back. And I was just wondering, they then did all the actions. So Hengist, Hazra and Bartleby, what would be your course of action when the rest of the sort of like the scene took place?
Well, we wouldn't just let him go. He took the villagers in there with him. We would have waited, I would have thought, for him to come back. We would have just disappeared.
Okay, so
but my argument last week was we'd just gone through a battle. We just had this. We were in no fit state to go running back into that camp, because they were still attacking us. I know he'd held the thing up and were able to walk out, but we didn't know whether we were going to turn and attack us again. So from a tactical standpoint, I think the other...
Can I say you don't need to justify your actions to me at all. Well,
because you said that his warrior thing was going to go down.
It's the question is, what I was trying to ascertain was how far into the swamp would you have actually gotten because Gulliver and Briar did a load of things. They went back, they brought it, so I just didn't know how far you would have been.
We wouldn't have left where we were, I would have thought. We wouldn't have wandered off without Gulliver.
Hengist would have definitely gone to noticed that the Gulliver hadn't followed and would have gone to wherever Gulliver was standing.
You last time, because that was actually one of the things in the video last time, because I think Hengist actually stood in one place a little bit further back from Gulliver, and then when it all came, all 3 of you sort of like said, we're off. So I'm quite happy for you to still be in eye shot. Rather than anything else in the actual thing. So Bartleby,
we're back at the castle.
Yeah, you're back in Lindowe. Actually, you're right the way back at you're sort of like stood back in the forest, and you've seen everything that's occurred with Briar and the farm people, etc. And so Gulliver, we'll nip across to you then. Hazra, Hengist and Bartleby sort of like kept at a distance within the tree line, where you bravely stood with the egg and controlled the batrachians, and then Briar and the farmstead people did the back, and then Briar said to you, let's go home. So we'll pick it up from there, Gulliver, and we'll come straight over to you, and you could tell me what you would like to do.
So throughout the time of Briar and the townspeople going back into the tower and recovering it, and Gulliver's been stood on the edge of the clearing with this egg-shaped piece of rock held above his head, even though he's tired. His sort of like arms are shaking, but he's determined to hold it up, and whatever magic it's doing, he's trying to keep them, the frog people, enthralled on him.
Yeah.
And when they've released the black worms back into the into the puddle, and did the large monster thing, did that disappear back?
Yeah,
Once it had, oh yes, it all got sucked down.
It seemed like it was sucking in, and you almost like get that. If you remember, you got like a sense of gratitude, as it sort of like it was. You think just from your feelings and what happened, then it was probably not of this plane. It seemed as if it'd been brought from somewhere else, and then it almost like phase walked or plane walked away. You think it was probably just being kept here under the control. It was almost as if its young were actually being kept almost like ransom, as if the batrachians had sort of like separated them out and were forcing the big creature to do their bidding. You also know that the big creature was somehow tied up with the egg, the marble egg that you were holding up, because if you remember, the creatures it seemed to talk to you inside your mind, and it seemed to be like a pool of blackness, just always off out the sight of your mind, so like lurking in the background, and that's when you heard her cry, etc.
So as Briar finishes and comes back up to Gulliver, he's going to say, is everybody out?
Yeah, and so like Briar sort of like looks around to the back of the tree line, and she sort of like takes a quick glance at the two farmers that are with her, and they sort of like nod, and she sort of like says, "I think so. We shouldn't tarry here much longer. I feel that we should get out of here as soon as possible."
I'm just concerned what's going to happen if I drop this stone, and they could all just turn. They could just all attack.
Yeah, she sort of like looks up at the stone that you're sort of like holding aloft, and your little spindly arms are sort of like out of your robe, etc. as you hold it in. She sort of like looks up, and she sort of like glances over the batrachians, and then looks back up at it and says, "It seems to be holding them at bay. I suggest we bring it with us. We don't know whether or not there's other patrols still in the swamp somewhere."
Good idea. You go. I'll be right behind you.
Yeah, and she's sort of like encouraging that you're going together. She's obviously stayed with you to this point.
Well, as she sort of like steps into the forest, Gulliver will sort of like walk backwards, sort of like keeping his eyes on them until he's into the foliage, and once he's into the foliage, he'll sort of like drop his arms down, but still holding the stone, the stone securely in his.
And even when you sort of like bring it down, and you're still holding it, and you still feel that vibration of magic that's coming out of it, and you really become aware that although you have the stone, you don't think it's you that's actually controlling the batrachians. It's definitely the stone that has that power. And it's almost like the wielder of the stone actually can almost like make this spell happen, but it's the power of the stone. As you know, you have no knowledge on how to control anything, but you do know that it's well known in sorcery that there are spells to actually enslave various animals or even humans to it. Yeah, and you back away, and then you meet up with Hazra, Hengist, and Bartleby and the rest of the farmstead people who have been lurking, still in eye shot, but well within the foliage.
As Gulliver comes into the proximity of the other people, he's going to say, "We should hurry up and get away from here as quick as possible."
That's what I've been saying.
Okay, so what?
I think it's this way, and he'll start going off in a direction.
I just hold up, Gulliver. I will find out. I will try to trace our tracks back, and I will.
Yeah, just 1 second, because I'm just putting you all on the map, all on the swamp map. So I will move you across now. You should be able to all see your characters. So if you can see this waterway here. Yeah, that's the sort of like the place that you're going. So if you just organize yourselves on there, so whether or not you can go two abreast at certain places and whatever, but if you just like to organize yourself the way that you would be going down there, then that would be brilliant.
And wherever possible, Gulliver wants to be next to
Briar. Yeah. Bartleby, remember, you've got a whole load of farmstead people round you, as has Gulliver and Briar. So you're sort of like, they're probably well placed there in the middle of the thing. So, yeah, Hazra, tell me what you wanted to do.
I want to try to retrace our steps back through.
So you can roll me a tracking. Yeah, that would be cool. Oh, off to a good start. Yeah, and you sort of like head off, leading the way. And after a few moments, sort of like keeping an eye out, you suddenly find, where you came in. None of the party were making any attempt to hide their route in, so you see the telltale signs of broken branches and things like that.
Quicksand.
Yeah, and that's it. Well, the first things that you actually come across as you are journeying into is, of course, the batrachians that you tied up.
Yes.
And you seem that they are still actually there. If you think about it, only a few hours have actually gone by. It's not a huge amount of time, and they're still tied up using your hemp rope. I think there was sort of like over this movie, I think it was over here where you left them, I think, or it might have been
It's not these two over here down here, is it?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I knew there was somewhere. I was completely zoomed out on my map. There you go. So you come across those as well as you sort of like make your way down. They still seem to be tied up and sort of like.
Are they struggling, or are they more passive now? Has Gulliver still got the egg in his hand?
Gulliver's still carrying the egg. Can you make a perception roll for me? Oh, you want to form tonight, Hazra, aren't you?
Wait till it matters.
Yeah, just wait till you have to throw your spear, then that way. You sort of like see that they've actually seemed to, the rope around their wrists has actually started to dig into their fleshy arms and legs, and you can see that that would only have happened by physically trying to wiggle out of them. So and they sort of like look quite they seemed a lot more alert now, because they were sort of like quite unconscious, but they are tied up, and they sort of like look at you as you approach. They have those wonderful toad-like eyes that one suddenly comes around and looks at you, while the other one's looking like a bit like a chameleon or something like that. So Hazra, you will approach them first. What would you like to do?
I will look over my shoulder and say, "What shall we do with these two? Should we set them free or put them out of their misery?" I don't want to put them out of their misery, but I also don't want them following us.
So Bartleby, that would be to you since you're.
I think we need to get Gully and his artifact, and perhaps he can give them a command. You know, I shouldn't just be saying this, Hazard. I'm going to go back and grab Gully.
He's just behind you.
Oh, I didn't know how many people were blocking me.
No, they tend to be round you rather than. So imagine that they're both down either side of you. So you're quite well protected from the swamp at the moment, Bartleby. You can talk to Gulliver. He's just behind you.
Gulliver, are you able to tell them to go home?
Yes.
Oh, then we should untie them and tell them to go home.
Oh no, Bartleby, I don't think they'll understand me, but I can tell them.
Oh, go home! with your powers as a sorcerer, or I mean, you made them let us walk through town.
Oh no, I think that was this egg. I don't think it was me. I don't think they understand me. I don't think I can control them and command them. I think they were just enthralled about what I was holding up. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you. I could try holding it up above my head again, but it does make my arms hurt. And he'll hold it up above his head.
No, Gulliver, that's okay. Don't hurt your arms.
I did scream out last time as well, but I don't know whether or not that did anything at all. I think it might have frightened a few of them. I don't really want to do that now though, because I think it might let them know where we are.
Hengist, I've sent you a message on Discord. I don't know whether or not you're just invisible or not there, but I've sent you a message about something.
The thing is that they're unarmed, and
yeah, I think they'll just run back if we undo the bindings.
I think we should just move on. The rest of the village will probably come to and find them soon. Speed is of utmost importance at the moment.
That's fair.
Just talking about the village, Hengist, can you make a perception roll for me, please? Can I please remind you that luck points are replenished, but magic points are not?
My other question,
was
I was winded last game. Now, us standing around waiting for Gulliver, would we have rested?
No, because it's still classed as being in combat.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Combat, yeah.
Held.
Yeah, cool.
Angus is probably right. Let's just push on. There, I think once the other villagers come around, they're going to come looking for us, and the first thing that they're going to stumble on is these two, and then they're going to release those so that they have more men to track us down and kill us.
Well, let's hope that they don't have to lay their suffering too long.
Medivac, have you killed your budgies?
Yes, they.
Was that what were you finishing one off just before? I can't hear them at all.
No, I've covered them up.
Oh, they think
with a plastic bag.
They think we're not there.
Right, they're behind me.
That's the beast of trial moment.
So, are you?
I think the plan is to then push on.
Yes.
Okay, so as you walk past these,
I'll take my rope off them and take it. No.
You do notice, Gulliver, that as you walk past them, their eyes become somewhat, their lidless eyes become somewhat glazed over, and as you walk past, they seem to cease to struggle. And they almost like just stand or lie or in fetal position quite still as you and your egg walk past them. And Bri turns to you and says, Bri's found her handmaiden now, and her handmaiden is with Bri, hence why she's got three, because she's got the two farmstead and her handmaiden. And the handmaiden is sort of like fussing around her and sort of like trying to keep her sort of like her dress that she has on out of the swamp, and Bride just sort of like turns to her handmaiden and says, "Will you stop it, woman? We're in a swamp. This is going to happen." And she sort of like, I'm sorry, Briar. I'm sorry. I just thought we would like to keep you, in your status around these sort of like ruffians. And Briar sort of like turns round and she sort of like looks at the farmstead people and you guys as well in your various states of injuredness, and sort of say, she says, "These are not ruffians. These are our saviours." And she sort of like walks past with you, Gulliver, and she notices the batrachians sort of like in their sort of like subdued state as you walk past, and she sort of like turns to you, Gulliver, and says, "Young man, you obviously possess some great power that you seem to be able to command these batrachians." And the party carries on moving. Is one question that I do just want to ask, just as you're going through. Obviously, Hazra, you're following your the original track that you came in. That is quite, as I mentioned earlier, it's quite easy to find. And I didn't. Are you making any attempt to hide where you are?
I do think that with the amount of people, I can't be at the front and at the back. So I think getting these people out as quick as we can is the more important thing. Okay. Because let's face it, they know where we've come from.
And they know where we're going.
Exactly. So that's my train of thought. I would love to. That's a no. I'd love to spend time sweeping over the tracks, but it's not going to happen.
No, and I think if anybody had a similar skill, if you placed them at the back, you
would
could
be perfect.
Yeah, and you could actually augment each other's roles. But if nobody has, then that's absolutely fine.
Well,
so
the most similar skill Hengist has got is survival, but I don't know if that would count.
I mean, I didn't realise Hengist had survival. Actually,
you could pull a branch behind you. When Gulliver wants to, he wants to be looking for a opportune moment to maybe spark up a conversation with Briar and just ask a few questions.
Yeah, so you're sort of like tramping through the swamp, and remember the bits where you are now are actually like tricklets of water. So you're sort of like, you're not wading through it, but at times they come up to your knees, etc. So yeah, you can strike. What would you like to
He wants to begin by saying, do you have any idea why the frogmen captured you in the first place?
And she sort of like looks round, and all the farmstead people sort of like they don't join in the conversation, but they seem to sort of like talk, and they seem to be talking about things like you hear one guy sort of like say, "Oh, they were always lurking, ready for the right opportunity," and somebody else says they've definitely been growing in ranks, growing in size. And somebody else, a young woman, sort of said, "But they were never brave enough to come out before." And Briar says, she says, "Obviously they wanted us to be sacrifices to that hideous beast out there." And you notice that one of the women are crying, and she sort of said, "He took my Bernard," like this. So she sort of like cries, and obviously, if you remember, there was a man who was sort of like pulled off the stake and eaten by this black creature.
When you were in the camp, did you see anybody who wasn't a frogman? Anybody who might have been dressed in robes of maybe a maroon colour or?
Yeah, and there actually comes. There seems to be something that actually, when they start to talk to you about it, it seems to sort of like almost like ring true. And you might have remembered that you talked to somebody called Mary Rowe. She was in one of the farmsteads, and she actually talked of a hooded man, a tall hooded man, who had this sort of like this colour robe on when you talked to her before. And the party, the farmsteaders, and even Briar herself sort of like relate back exactly the same story. It's slightly different, however, and they talk about him being too tall for a human. You know, as if he was somewhat stooped, but he didn't. They talk about his movement and how he didn't quite move as a human. It was more jerky, more out of sync, almost like asynchronous movement. It almost as if he was trying to control legs and arms, that almost like he wasn't used to. It's a bit like when somebody, normally when you walk, you swing the opposite arm to your leg, and this was as if he was swinging the same arm and the same leg, which looked very strange when it actually happens.
I was going to say, did you ever hear him or it speak?
Yeah, and some people say he sort of like rasped in coarse whispers, and some people say that he just used the power of his mind. And Briar sort of like looks round and sort of like comments that she never heard him or it speak, and she does remember it coming to the tower after she had been taken in there, and that it had talked to the chief, and she sort of like supports and almost like reinforces this, how tall he was and how ungainly he was, and almost like out of synchronous movement he was, as if she refers to it as not being human but being human. There's something about it. She also does state that never ever, and everybody agrees with this, they sort of like say they never saw his face or its face. Its cowl was, you know, completely over. It wasn't just sort of like here, it was like round this way and really far forward. And some of the villagers talk about red eyes burning in the depth of blackness, you know, but you do notice at that point the person who says it says, "Oh, I wish I had a piece of paper to write that down. That would make a great lyric," you know. And you sort of like progress.
Gulliver wants to say, what about his robes? Was there anything about his robes? Did they have any markings on that you could remember?
Yeah, and again, because you sort of like, people are quite respecting you, Gulliver, because, you know, you sort of like almost like saved Briar at the end and everything like that, and there are lots of people and lots of people sort of like chipping in various sort of like answers as the party continues to trek through the marsh. And they say some that it was the blackest robes of deepest midnight, you know, comes out, and others says it was tattered and torn. I think the only thing that you can sort of like, the three things that actually come out of it that you can probably think is truthful is that that they seem to be of a dark colour. Okay, you know that. There seems to be glimpses, flashes of colour at times, maybe in certain places of the robe. And the final thing comes from somebody who, as well as being a farmer, is quite versed in merchant, you know, buying and selling. And he does comment of the richness of the robes, both the actual cost but also the manufacture of it. Can you just roll an insight roll for me, please? Yeah, and you figure, strangely enough, that all of those are true. If that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know, as people, they're actually talking the truth, and whether or not it's the truth of what they've seen or whatever, all of them seem to be telling the exact truth They're not trying to hide something, and they don't seem to be making anything up.
Okay.
That's what it is. Yeah.
The last thing he wants to say is, well, before you were taken into the tower, right? Was any other people taken in there?
And this question is it soon becomes apparent to you that the only things that tend to happen is that they get taken to the stakes, and they seem to have lost quite a. The sacrifice that you guys saw was not the first sacrifice. You know, it's been happening on a regular, on a regular pattern since they actually gone in there. And the interesting thing though, it's the first time that Briar got taken into the tower. And you naturally ask her about, whether or not she knows the reason for this, and all she says is that the chief pushed her in the corner and uttered a couple of, three almost like croak-like words, and it was just saying, "He come soon," and that was it. And even then, she thinks that's what he said. Before he trussed her up and started to light the incense. Hengist, can you make another perception roll for me? And Hazra, can you just make another tracking roll for me, please? Because just to make sure that you're going off on the right track. Oh, nice, both of you. So, Hengist, you can actually now hear something far away entering. You can hear the splashing of water from far behind you. You just catch it now and again, and you sort of like get everybody at that point just to stand still for a while, and you can definitely hear this splashing noise, and you figured that you obviously got some kind of pursuit after you. Hazra, don't go left, go right, and you'll be on the right course. And Briar seems to hear this as well and looks quite worried. And Bartleby, you notice that the people around you are looking quite my right. Thank you. Sorry, I should have said. I should have said east, east rather than west. I suddenly thought, I thought you were going to lead them the wrong way and just plunge them into darkness.
Right. Go around circles for a bit.
Yeah, and it won't be the first time.
Hengist will tell Gully. Gully, can you pass the message up to Hazra to tell him to pick up the pace? We're being pursued.
Gulliver's going to shout, "Pick up the pace, Hazra! We're being pursued!"
Yeah, and you suddenly, there's some people in your party who can't physically pick up the pace. They're either quite injured or dehydrated or just plain old, and that's it. Briar looks quite good in that picture, doesn't she? She's quite a stunner, I must admit.
Seeing this, Gulliver's going to say, "Can you help the slow ones, Bartleby?"
How do you mean?
Well, maybe if you cast that spell that fills us with the joys of life and takes away all our aches and pains when we're in combat, maybe they can pick up the speed and we can move faster through the forest.
Spell? No. I invoke my goddess, Gully. I'm not a powerful sorcerer like yourself. And
Briar turns to you, Gulliver, and says, "Pray, why does he hide his face?"
Oh. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Does he have a bad case of acne, or is he just hideous underneath that strange mask?
Yes.
Yeah, Briar's sort of like looking at you. You're a bit like that man in the 7 voyage, the seventh voyage of Sinbad or whatever it is, with the mask on, and she's sort of like, it's only now that she's sort of like been brave enough because she has seen you in it before, but now she's sort of like questioning. And you do notice, Bartleby, that some of the farmsteaders are sort of like nudging each other and go like that, and you hear an old woman say, "Oh, poor man, I had a baby like that once, completely hideous. We had to put a blanket over his face every time we took him outside."
I hope it was a soft blanket. I'm gonna keep my feelings intact and just pretend I can't see with my lack of peripheral vision.
Are you invoking any, or are you exhorting any spell at this point?
I'm at 2 magic points, so I could really only give one person a little speed boost.
Yeah, you're good to, yeah, that wouldn't naturally help the whole, you know.
Yeah.
It was,
I was going to say, I mean, Azra seen people just talking in the back. We'll look over his shoulder and say, "I wouldn't worry too much, Bartleby. My leg is very injured, and you could make somebody go faster, but I wouldn't be able to go any faster."
yeah, and you notice that the swamp water is sort of like lapping around that injured leg.
Okay,
How much farther is it to go, Hazra?
Twice as long as half.
Hengist, can you roll, please? Your, I think you've got a military tactics or something similar to that.
I've got a strategy and tactics
Yeah,
one.
that I do. Roll away. The only time that you get to. Do you wish to use a point of luck on that?
No.
Okay then. Yeah, you can hear they're obviously batrachians coming behind you, and you figure that the distance is actually shortening as you carry on marching through, with Hazard taking the lead. And Hazard, you figure that you must be getting close to the entrance point where you came out. You followed your tracks really well. As you are walking, but you notice Briar and Bartleby and Gulliver, you start to sense that the sound not coming from straight behind but off to either side, and you sort of like start to get this feeling that you're almost like being flanked on both sides. It doesn't look like if it is the batrachians, it doesn't look like they're just running straight behind you. You definitely get this feeling that they've almost like split off, and almost like maybe either trying to circle round you to sort of like block the narrow way ahead, or even maybe do a pincer movement and come in either side.
Gulliver,
sorry, Hazra, you hear and sense this too.
Yeah, Gulliver, get ready to hold that stone up again. If they come at us, hold it up and see if it stops them.
Will you be staying that this time, or will you just be carrying on?
I will be here to protect the group, yes.
And if you're not a member of the group, then I will not be protecting you.
Just stay here and hold the egg.
Yeah, Hazra, can you roll a perception check for me, please?
Certainly.
Oh, nice. You are rolling on. This one actually matters. You can actually see if you remember the Frog Fen finishes, and it goes into the farmstead land. And you can see this, but at the same time, you see up ahead that there seems to be a wealth, not just one. You can see that the batrachians have obviously flanked you on both sides, and you can actually see them. They appear to be congregating. I'm just going to move you to the center of the map. You're still on track, etc. But you can sort of like see that they're sorry, Gully, I just moved you by yourself then. You can see that they're sort of like ahead of you, and they seem to have managed to get up on either side of you, and are actually sort of like they don't seem to be holding the they don't seem to be blocking anything. They almost like appear to be sort of like hiding, as if it's going to be more of an
ambush.
Yeah, more of an ambush rather than anything else. I'm just putting them on so you can sense them. You probably I'm not going to put them all on for obvious reasons, but you probably think each one of the tokens probably represents somewhere between 3 to 5 batrachians. So there's not actually just 2 up ahead, if that makes sense. You know, there's probably 3 here and 3 3 here and 3 here, and then this is probably 1 or 5 over here. Can you see? So and you definitely get the feeling, all of you, that they've actually used almost like tactics and have sort of like surrounded you rather than just chasing you.
Do we all see them?
Yeah, you can see them. They're sort of like lurking in the.
I will turn around and go, "It's a trap!"
You know, soon as Gully sees movement in the trees or in the shrubbery, the first thing he's going to do is to almost like a matter of instinct now, he's going to sort of like his arms are going to go back up holding this egg, and he'll be sort of like moving it from side to side. As, how it faces actually affects.
Yeah, and you sort of like move it aside, and you notice that the batrachians, when you lift the egg up, they almost like take cover. They almost like seem to hide behind branches or boulders or tufts of grass, whatever, as if they sort of like think that if they can't see it, it's not there. Hazra, obviously you've got these batrachians ahead of you. Currently you're walking and you're finished sort of like there. As you see them ahead, are you stopping? Are you continuing forward?
I will.
Sorry, just to let you. Sorry, just one thing before you say. You do notice the rest of you, Hengist, Gulliver, and Bartleby. You can't see this, Hazra, since you're in the lead, but it's fine for you to know. You notice that the farmstead people have almost like clumped further together, and they've almost like put the women and the younger members of the farmstead sort of like inside, and the guys are sort of like formed like a barrier around there. None of them have weapons of any description, but you do notice that some of them have picked up small branches or a rock or something like that as you go. Yeah, sorry, Hazra.
I will slow. I won't stop, but I'll slow. While over my shoulder, I will say that in the bushes ahead of us there are groups of them. Should we make a run for it, or do you think this is a more defensible place to stay?
I think we should try and push through. As soon as we stop, we're just going to get surrounded. So keep moving at a steady pace. It'll be hard for them to surround us.
Why are they following us?
I'm assuming because we've got the prisoners.
Brian looks round and says, "It would appear that they have surrounded us already."
We haven't been moving very fast because there's lots of tired people. And I don't think they were tired because most of them were sleeping before we rescued them. So, and of course they know the terrain, so they've managed to get ahead of us.
If you go in the middle and maybe hold the egg up like you're doing, do you think they will bow down?
Hazra, you have slowed your pace down, but notice that I keep moving you forward. So unless you say that you're going to stop, you will actually walk. We're walking. Yeah. As long as you
okay, I will. keep moving forward, then, but keep the stone in the air. So maybe if they go down, we go past, without them attacking us. Perhaps watch the sides, make sure they don't take any of the villages.
I'll hold it up as long as
Hengist, I would suggest you take your shield out as well, my friend, because you are injured and you could do with all the help you possibly could. In the nicest possible. I don't mean that.
In the nicest possible way.
So I'm assuming Hengist still can't fight at all at the moment because of his injury.
Correct.
Which arm was it?
Left arm.
You can't put your shield on anywhere, mate.
Shield
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I can't do anything anyway.
Until actually healed, then you are incapacitated. You're not able to continue fighting at all until it's actually healed up. I think it's been stabilized, and Bartleby, your wounds have been sorted, have they?
Yeah, they've been I stabilized them.
Yeah.
Would I be able to cast a prayer onto Gulliver?
Yes, by all means, go for it.
Make my way back there. I intend to call upon my goddess, hopefully to do this, to invigor his arms with strength of energy. Pow.
Nice. Gulliver, are you suffering any...
I am currently tired.
Okay, so you would actually lose that.
Yeah.
So that would be fresh. Oh, that gets rid of my all my hard rolls.
Correct. Yeah, it would do. Okay, so yeah, Hazra, I just need to know from you whether or not you're going to carry on into the batrachian's trap. That is obviously
a trap. Well, yeah. Our tactician has said, "Let's go." So let's go. Yeah, unless we get surrounded.
You are already surrounded. Can you see these little tokens down the side? Okay, then. So
Gulliver's, as he's holding it up, Gulliver's going to say to Briar, when we break the forest, maybe get the fastest of the villagers to run to your father for help if you can.
Yeah, and she's sort of like, I fear we might never. She's sort of like glancing around, and somebody's given her a slight twig. Or does she have Bartleby's club?
I believe she does, because I was just going to be a coward.
Yeah, so I think so. Yeah, so she's got the club in her hand, and she's still nursing the abdomen wound. It's a lot better now, but from falling down the stairs earlier, she sort of like gets it, and she sort of like looks around, and she noticed that some of the younger members and the women are sort of like sobbing, probably out of fear as they notice the batrachians on either side, and she seems to be doing her best to try to almost like be a leader and to sort of like calm them down. And they definitely get this sense that they're going into danger as you move closer and closer. You can see now the batrachians ahead of you seem to be Hazra cowering behind trees, as if to avoid looking at the stone. But Hengist and Gulliver, you do notice, and you sort of like have a glance around, there's definitely batrachians now behind you.
Mm-hmm. Do they are they armed?
Yes, they all have those giant spears that they have that do 1d10 damage. If you remember, I think some people can actually vouch for the trustiness of those spears. Okay, Hazra, it's back to you. You can see the approaching.
Okay, as long as I can see the ones in front of me cowering, what I'm going to say is...
yeah, they're just keeping behind a tree. They're not going like that. They just seem to...
Are they... Can I see that they're actually trying to avoid looking at the stone? Or are they just avoiding being seen by us?
They seem to be avoiding Gulliver rather than avoiding you. They seem to be very aware where you are and what you're actually doing.
That's fine. So what I'll say is keep close together. Once we pass these two out of the swamp, then I would suggest Gulliver holds up. We will stay at the back, and the villagers go forward, and then we shall back away slowly with Gulliver holding them back.
Yeah. So is the plan just to carry on moving forward? Yeah.
Keep moving forward and funnel the villagers in front so they go off ahead if possible, and then we can use the stone, or Gulliver can use the stone to keep them back if they're avoiding the stone. Unless, of course, I get snatched.
So Gulliver in the middle is going to try to be in the middle, and as he say, he's doing his best just to sort of like move round so that he's almost making eye contact with the frogmen as he's holding the stone up.
Yeah, and
can he actually, if he tries, can he try to communicate with the stone? I don't know whether or not if he focuses his mind and sort of like tries to focus his willpower on it.
Yeah, just roll a willpower check for me. Okay, I'm sending you something in Discord.
I just read the previous one that you'd sent to me, and I'm thinking, how would that help? Okay, thank you.
We can't hear you in this.
Inwills, can't hear you.
You can feel the power getting less and less in it, and you actually think that beforehand the batrachians would never get this close to you. They seem to be wary of the egg, but not so much afraid of it. And it's at this point, as sure as you get to the point in between this, almost like this pincer movement, Hazra, the two batrachians at the front, almost like bound out of the undergrowth, and almost like they don't seem to be they're not going to go ha ha. You know, they're bounding out actually to attack. So yeah, let's have some initiatives. I think. Don't forget to click on your character. I think mine's 11 if I remember off the top of my head. Yeah.
For one time he gets more than a 12 or a 13. He can't do anything.
And Bartleby, what's your initiative bonus?
9.
9. Okay, let me just check what mine is.
Not like I can fight either. My wounded arm.
No, you will go before. Then Hazra and Hengist, what are your initiative bonuses?
Hazra will be quicker than me.
So what are
11.
Hazra's is 11.
Okay then, cool.
Right, he's quicker than me.
Okay then, cool. Okay then, yeah. So Hazra, you act first. You see these two creatures these two batrachians that have gone up round the side and have sort of like come in and they jump in. They seem to have their long spears with them. You're first up. What would you like to do?
Free action. I want to shout, "Get everybody through as quick as you can. I will hold these two if I can."
I will hold them now away.
Hold on!
Okay, so that's your free action. And what about your action? For you?
I will take a thrust at the closest one.
Okay, do you want east or west?
East, please.
East. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find my dinky do for that one.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying anything in response to that at all.
At all.
Oh yes, nice one.
Oh, I've just realised I reprinted my offensive specials out, and it's missed out all the names in the boxes. Okay, don't worry.
That's all. That's always helpful, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
It's a mystery special.
Yay. I want to try and disarm opponent if possible.
Hang on, just because I think you hit, didn't you?
I did. Sorry, you want a location, don't you?
No, I need to see whether or not I parry first.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And they're very good at parrying, Hazra.
This is how it goes. So this is a 67.
That's it. They've got an amazing dexterity.
Yeah, they actually parried the roll. Yeah, that was weird. It rolled it twice, but only came at once. Yeah, so it parries the blow as it comes into you. So you sort of like thrust with your spear, and the batrachian sort of like knocks it out the way with its shaft. Hengist, you're up.
What can Hengist do? Because he can't fight. He's just going to stand sort of like warily trying to chivvy people on for the moment.
Yeah, we're at a standstill at the moment.
Okay.
Because of the fronts being attacked.
So he will probably, in that case, he will turn to keep an eye on the back to make sure that to keep an eye on the ones that are coming in from behind.
Yeah, okay then. Gulliver, what would you like to do?
Can Gulliver make a perception check to see the best route that the villagers could take to get out, but without getting too close to the
okay, then
Trachians?
Yeah, make a perception check. No, actually, don't make a. Oh no, you can. Sorry, yeah, you can have that.
When he sees the way, he wants to take one hand off the stone, so he's still holding the rock up with one hand, and he wants to point, and he wants to say to them, "Go that way quickly." Okay,
so you think the best route for them out is via the blue arrow?
Right. Okay. So that's the way that he's going to.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that would be a free action.
Yeah, he'll say to Bria.
Oh no, hang on. You use your perception, so that's an action. So you still got your free action if you wish.
Yeah. So he's going to say to Briar. He's going to say, "Take the villagers and go that way," and he's going to point.
Okay. The whole villagers actually act at the end of the round, so they all got like initiatives of 2s and 1s, etc. Okay, yeah. So Bartleby, you're up.
Am I within touching range of Hazra?
Yeah, you're close enough to give him a quick touch if you wish.
I'm curious if I can see any obvious wounds that may just be bandaged but would still be missing hit points.
Yeah, Hazra, will Bartleby see anything that are bandaged but were location of your wounds?
It will notice my right leg has been bleeding and is now bandaged up, but is still very
Yeah, so you can
like
see
something's been bitten it, and
so he's obviously got something quite nasty on his right leg. Did you say, Hazra?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And that's going to be my target. The miracle I'm going to try and perform is this one.
Cool.
And Amriel, give me big money. Can I use a point of luck to reverse?
Yes, that's it. What kind of wound have you got on there?
It's -1, so that's made
No, Sirius.
Stable, Sirius, right?
Yeah,
Stable.
Sirius. Yeah. So you can put that up as the light of Amriel flows through you. You notice that you feel that leg become a lot more sturdy, so you can put it right the way up to maximum hit points. It'll be back to it.
The awe in Hazra's eyes.
Yeah, and okay, so I think it's Batrachian's turn now. So I'm going to do the back bits first. So these Hengist move into attack, and then these Briar starts heading this way with the people, the farmstead people. So I'm just taking off your counters. So imagine that they've all gone on that way. So yeah, this one probably comes to you, Gulliver, because you're further in. So they will all move on this round to be in touching distance, and we'll go off to round 1, turn 2. We're back to you. Oh no, sorry, hang on, wrong.
No.
Yeah, I got some hits to do up at the top.
I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you and those batrachians.
I know. So this is the one that you try to hit it. That is already used an action, so this is its second action. And it actually misses with a 90. And this is the one on the opposite side, which also misses. You have prayed to the dice gods today, Mr. Ezra.
Oh God, it's a shock of seeing me stand there like an idiot, taking on 2.
Yeah. So Hazra, we're back up to you now.
Okay. Hopefully, I can hear what's been going on behind me. So I'm assuming that.
Sorry, just on that point, Bartleby and Gulliver, can you just make perception rolls for me? Hazra, carry on. Sorry.
Assuming I've heard what's going on behind me, and then Gulliver's getting the peasants out, the villagers out the other way. So I will again attack east, please.
Okay, go for it.
No, I miss. I'm shocked. I miss.
Just 1 second. Okay, Gulliver, that's what you see. Hengist, what would you like to do?
So obviously they can still attack me, but Hengist can't attack back at the moment. Can he defend himself with a serious wound, or is that not a thing?
You can try to evade if you wish, and launch yourself out of combat by making an evade roll.
Is that the only thing you can do?
You can't fight because of your wound at the moment. Yeah. So you can. I mean, what you can do. You can do things like try to move out the way. You can use any of your skills that you have. Anything that you think might be suitable in this dire situation.
Yeah, he's going to try and evade because that's all he can seem to be able to do.
So roll your evade skill.
No.
No. Okay then. So do you wish to look it?
No.
No. Okay then. So you sort of like stay in sight of them as they've all got their spears leveling off to you. Gulliver, you're next.
Gulliver, which direction? Sorry.
They seem to be across. They seem to be coming in almost like a pincer movement as well.
Okay, I've already used my free action, haven't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Gulliver, he's still only got one hand on this egg thing, but it doesn't seem to be It doesn't seem to be doing much at all, to be honest with you. So he's going to point at the frogman closest to him, and he's going to cast a spell. So with his two fingers crossed, he'll point at this frogman and he'll say, "Emmet!" as he casts this spell.
Cool.
Well, let me make sure I've got magic points to actually do this. Yes, I have.
It's endurance, isn't it?
Yes. Is it? Yes, it's in endurance, and my roll is that.
Yeah, it makes its endurance check on a 12. It has an endurance of 48.
So I make it then.
You will win. Yeah. So he will take one. I've made him slightly yellow to say that he's got one level of tiredness. Bartleby, you're up.
I'm thinking that I need to use.
Did you make your?
No, we didn't.
Oh, yeah.
I got a very easy success.
No, you can't take minutes over this one.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be hours for the very easy?
Oh yeah, sorry, very easy. Yeah, hours. You can if you wish.
No, I'm okay here. I'm thinking I need to use that potion I've been packing that older lady gave to me when she spit on me.
Oh yes.
I'm not sure what it does, so I've been sitting here trying to debate on whether.
That's the one. What did she say to you when she?
The end is soon, and I will die, is what she told me. And she gave me this glass vial with clear liquid and a dead centipede in it, and said to drink it all.
Yeah. Okay, then.
So I'm trying to decide whether I should use that on myself or offer it to Gulliver. Well, since I think if Gulliver has a boost, he might be able to do something with that egg.
Yeah, but Gulliver's sort of like faced with a batrachian at the moment. So
yeah.
Even if he turned round and sort of like to even take it, then the batrachian would it would be easier for him to actually hit.
I think by the time you've got it out your backpack or whatever it is as well.
Where did I pack it? How many turns would it take, or how many actions, I should say, would it take to pull it out and drink the...
It depends where it is.
It's probably in my backpack.
Right, so definitely one turn to get it out and another turn to drink it.
I will do that with my one good arm then.
Okay, so this round then, this turn, you manage to get your backpack off and rummage it, and you come out with it.
You can't tell that the spell users are out of magic points, can you?
I have 2 miracle points left and 1 magic point. That'll make me pass out.
Yeah, all the magic users.
We need a miracle now.
Yeah.
I don't have that many miracles though. I can't make it rain blood or anything.
You said 2. We just need 1.
That means we've got 1 and a spare.
Excellent. So that's all you guys done, isn't it? So it's Batrachian's time to fight back. So let's do you first, Hazra. I can't find mine to hit. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is the first one. Oh, which misses you again with a 95. They have a skill of 67. Why can't they hit you? You're like a ghost when you go into the undergrowth. Here's the second one. 95. I actually scored the same roll both times. 95.
It's because I'm doing the camera, the frog thing in front of them.
So you actually avoid all their attacks where they just miss you quite easily. So let's go back. Let's go to the back, and we've got 3 attacks coming to Hengist. So this is the first one.
Hit.
Which hit with a 39. Second
plate
one,
armor, he'll be fine.
Second one hits with a 31. If I get a crit now, this would be superb. Oh!
Oh gosh.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I'm so tempted. I don't.
Parry the crit.
I don't know what to do. I'm going to use Hengist's one and only hit point. Risk it for a biscuit. Can I make you re-roll that last one, please?
Yes, by all means, I'll re-roll it. It's not a problem.
I get a 1.
A
At
15.
least it's not a crit.
Yeah. Okay then. Let me roll the damage. Oh, let me roll hit location first, because that's the. Oh, I can't get my
That's
dice.
the important thing at the moment.
Left arm, right arm.
Well, left arm head of the danger one.
It's going 12,
That's chest. That's fine.
then 4,
Left leg.
and then 4 again.
Left leg.
Okay then.
So chest, left leg, left leg.
Okay then. So
You have action points left there, don't you?
Yeah.
yeah. You're not doing anything, are you?
What? He can only try and evade, can't he?
Correct. Yeah.
He won't evade the first one, but he'll try and evade the second ones if that's possible.
Okay. So this is the you. Well, if you roll your evade first, and then we can see what actually you're going to evade the second one, which is the 31 one. Yeah. Go for it. No. Okay then. So let's do some damage. So this one is to your chest. It'll do 7 points to your chest.
Okay, so that's 2 points of damage that go through his armor.
Okay. Let me do the next two before you take it off. I'm going to see how much we get. That'll be a 10
Okay.
and a 5. How much armor?
So he's got 5 on his legs and his chest and abdomen. So the first one, he goes down by 2 hit points to 6
On that
That's an 8.
location.
Yes.
And then your left leg's got how much?
5 points.
5
again.
points. So the roll of the 10 will be knocked down to 5 hit points.
So he's got 1 hit point left on his left leg.
So that's still a
and
minor wound. And the
Yep,
second
and the
one
second
got
one, nothing
5. Gets nothing to it. Okay. The one in front of you, Gulliver, that you've tired, sort of like raises up its spear to sort of like hit you. Do you wish to do anything?
Yes, I'm going to parry it with this egg.
It's all right. It missed. In any case,
Can I still try to parry it with it?
You're using an egg is not really your combat style.
Right.
So
Okay.
it will be. What is your combat style include?
It includes. Hold on, let me find it.
Point
It
stones.
includes knives, slings, and stone/rock.
Does it really?
Yes, you have a look at my character.
Okay,
He's used it before. and does. Yeah.
you can.
It's a throwing stone or rock.
Okay.
I could throw it at it if it was running away. I could.
I think you can parry it with the egg and see how you do. Your combat skill isn't that great in any case, I don't think. Yeah, so you actually do. You succeed with your standard roll, which means you'll have a crit, and you'll have one special on me. So you need to choose your. It's not a crit. It's just. No.
Okay.
Have you got your things done?
Yeah. Can I sort of like as he swings it? Can I sort of like try to parry it, but just sort of like whack it into his arm to disarm him?
Disarm opponent. Yeah, that's a. I'm just checking. That's a defensive one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's a defensive, and there's no special. The character. Oh yes, I get a roll. The opponent must make an opposed roll of his combat style against the character's original roll.
What's its strength as well?
The batrachian.
Yeah.
It is.
Because mine's only 8. So
mine's 11.
Right, so it would have to be, yeah.
Do you want to try to disarm?
Yeah. So as he swings it, I'm just sort of like going to bring this rock round
Yeah,
and
cool. So your original
his-
roll was 43, wasn't it?
yeah, maybe get lucky and it whacks his hand and he drops the spear.
Yeah. Well, hang on. Let's see what it actually does first. It actually fails its roll with a 96. So did it loses a weapon flung distance to the roll of what's your damage modifier?
Minus 1d2.
Okay, so because normally what it would do is fling the number of meters of your damage modifier, but because you don't technically have a modifier, you do this sort of like spear comes around and you sort of like whack this egg, and you sort of like catch one of its hands holding onto the shaft, and these all like go like that, and so the spear just falls to the ground. And yeah, so this batrachian in front of you is now, I'm going to use the spanner to say that it's disarmed, and that moves us. Oh, that's everybody, isn't it? Because I'm at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you sort of like whack this out of the hands of this batrachian, and yours is still up. Does anybody have any action points left for combat turn 3?
I don't
Yes,
know.
I do.
Okay then. Hazor, what would you like to do?
I'm going to again thrust, but I'm going to go for the west one this time.
Ooh, nice.
I know. Well, I think he's still got an action point left. I'm hoping he's going to parry. Might be wrong, but here we go. Let's see.
Oh, this is tactical metagaming.
Sorry.
Metagaming.
But I've seen that. I've already. Yeah, the other one. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
I get 100 on that one, which means
Awesome. You put a tick in the box.
yeah, I've ticked in the box. He's going to get a skill roll, but I will say that he drops his weapon at that point. So I need a location, a special location and damage from you.
Yeah, certainly special is going to be. Well, I was going to disarm opponent, but now can I try and compel surrender?
Well, I think they
It needs to be able to
Help.
understand.
you need to be
That's
understand
a
you.
very
But,
good point, isn't it?
yeah,
In which case, bypass the armor, and location is going to be 9.
9. Ooh, I think that's one of its legs. Oh, it's abdomen. Do some damage for me.
Okay, where are we? Damage. Is 6 points.
Ooh, and that was bypassing his armor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to let you know, compel surrender says allows the character a chance to force the surrender of a helpless or disadvantaged opponent. But please do remember that these can fight unarmed as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So so you bypass the what was it on its
Abdomen.
abdomen? Nice. And it's got 2 points of armor there, which I take the full 6. Yeah, so that takes it down to 0, which means you've got a serious wound on it now. So he needs to roll his endurance. He fails his endurance roll with an 86, which means that I think it's in. Did you say it was in the abdomen, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So if he fails that, he falls unconscious as he's virtually out of it. You can, if you wish, do the coup de grace. I can't. Why is he not colouring in? Colour in, Mister. There you go.
Not coloured in.
It is.
There he goes.
Coloured in.
Okay. So that's the end. Does anybody else have any actions before I change everything?
Hengs does, but he's going to be dithering with his sword in his hand, because if he's going to die, he's going to die with his sword in his hand.
Okay. Cool.
Can I use a luck point to buy an action? That's the thing we can do, right?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
I would like to buy that action to move over to Hengist, if I may.
Oh, I thought you were going to drink the potion.
Nope, I thought of something even better. That's my backup plan.
Okay, so your backpack is likely to be on the floor now, just so you
That's
know,
fine.
and you've now got the potion in your hand when you need to use it. Yeah. Okay then. So this is combat round 2, turn 1. Hazra, you're up.
Right, I will ignore the one on the ground, and I will go for east.
East. Go for it.
Oh, it's a fail.
Yeah. Do you wish to look it?
No.
No,
I'm assuming it's spun from one side. It's just got a little bit too far over.
Yeah. Okay then. Yeah. So this, I don't need to waste any points on that. And Hengist, you're up. What would you like to do?
Well, Hengist can't move anywhere, so he's just going to stay statically still, so like almost resigned.
You can evade. That's what
No.
because you'll have to evade out of combat, so you can move. I mean, you can actually push past Bartleby, but you would have to make a successful evade into start.
He wouldn't push past Bartleby. He's going to try and keep them between himself, between them and Bartleby for as long as possible, even though he can't do anything.
Gulliver, you're up.
Gulliver's going to shout at his at the top of his voice, "Over here! Come quickly!" And then
hit the batrachian with
and
bang.
And then he's going to cast a spell onto. So again, with his fingers crossed, he'll. Actually, he's going to, because this one's unarmed at the moment, isn't it?
The one in front of you. Yes, you disarmed him last one.
I'm casting on this one.
Okay.
And again, he's going to point at it, and he's going to. You hear him say, "Emmet," and
cool.
he casts that spell.
Yeah. Cast away.
That's 58. That's going to be hard to beat.
My endurance is 48.
So you can't beat it unless you crit.
Yeah, I got an 84. So he is now yellow as well, isn't he?
Yes, yellow belly.
Yellow belly. Bartleby.
All right, here's my plan of what I want to do.
Remember, you just got one action.
Is this the miracle?
I'm gonna perform a miracle. It's a new one.
He steps up and lifts the front of his cassock.
I'd like to cast this on
Ooh!
if I can.
This
to
is
have a
spell.
goddess shield of Amriel form that is invulnerable to damage. That hopefully you can just.
Everybody sees this and sort of like goes, "Why didn't he do this beforehand?"
Because
many years before.
Once he was getting a drink.
I guess I both forget about shields, you know.
Okay then. So would you like to see
Oh yeah,
whether or
I
not
would like to roll.
whether or not Amriel is with you or not?
Big money. No.
Do you
I'm
wish
have to wait till next turn, I think.
Do you wish to use a point of luck?
I only have one luck point left, and that feels like I made that mistake before.
Yeah,
But-
keep it. Yeah, we don't.
Yeah,
need
keep
this.
it.
We don't need
But-
Hengist alive.
I'm concerned for Hengist.
You know. Yeah. That is noble of you, I must admit. Oh, sod it, I might need that myself.
We don't need no stinking look points.
Yeah, I guess I'll keep it.
Okay.
Do whatever you want to, mate.
I feel terrible, Longshanks. I feel terrible.
Don't. That's what I'm saying. Don't feel terrible.
No, just say something nice over his grave.
Yeah.
I will. It'll be the
Blessings
first
from
one.
Unreal. Sorted.
Okay.
I'd
It's.
just like to say, Longshanks, if it was my last luck, I would have used
Do
Well,
you
you
love?
have done it. You never let me live it down before in a
Well, do you
previous
want,
game.
do you love someone enough to give them their
Your
last
last
look point?
I actually sacrificed
Here we go.
a point of edge. A
You did.
full point of edge. I never got it back.
Yes, you did. You actually
You did, yeah.
sacrifice. Oh, so there's no shield protecting.
Shields!
Okay. Here comes my rolls. Now, isn't it funny, Hazra? I can't hit you for toffee.
No, I've got no armor.
The last one misses because that needs a hard roll, I think. Is that correct, Gulliver?
Yes.
Yeah, so 62 out of 45 will miss. So that's missed. The standard, those other two have hit. And Hengist, do you wish to do anything?
No.
Okay. Let me find my... where's my dice roller gone? Oh, there we go. This is going in your 15. And then the second one...
That's fine.
It'll be 15 and then 12.
Which is my chest again.
Okay, so 15 first. Where is that?
My right arm.
And is that armoured?
It is.
Oh, cool. So let me do some damage there for you. That'd be 7 points of damage to your right arm.
Okay, so that's 4 points of damage that I got goes through onto my right arm. Sorted.
Okay.
I'm okay.
And the second one goes on your 12.
Yes, chest.
Is there armour there? Yeah?
Definitely.
Yeah, okay then.
Rather scratched, but yes.
This will be 12 points of damage to your chest.
Okay, so that is -5, so that's 7, so that's -1.
-1. So you need to roll for me, please. That's a serious wound now, so you need to roll your endurance. The original attack was 34.
So I've got to beat 34.
You got to succeed first, yeah.
No,
You
don't
wish you
succeed.
had Aegis, didn't you? Don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine if you had
I wish I
your
had.
shield.
Imagine if you had this literal.
Yeah. The blessing of Amriel.
My wings are like a shield of steel.
Yeah,
I'm like a sack of potatoes.
so Bartleby, you try to protect Hengist with the power of Emerald, try to bring up this magical shield, and these spears sort of like whack into him, and one glances off his arm, but the other one nails him straight in the chest and finds a little dint in the armor, and you hear Hengist let out a slight moan as he falls to the ground, unconscious, and you are faced, Bartleby. Bartleby
Don't
says,
worry, he has a luck point.
He does have a luck point. And he has a magic bottle as well.
yeah.
No magic points.
Okay, so
Use look point to leg it.
this is the attack of the.
Can I just... does Hengist have a free action, sorry?
No, you're unconscious now.
No, but I mean before, as he was being hit, would have been able to say something instead of mine.
Like,
No, you would have taken. You would have done that on 17.
Okay, no, that's fine.
So Bartleby, you sort of like see Hengist fall to the ground, and you're sort of like faced with these, one quite tired looking batrachian, but the other two fine, and this one they all seem to. That one just stands on Hengist. He sort of like goes like that, does he? So, and these, they all start to move to this position, and as they come in towards you, you suddenly see the one to your left, Bartleby. You suddenly, as it moves towards you, as it actually moves, you see this spear fly through the air from your left, and takes it out in sort of like one shot altogether. And then you, Bartleby and Gulliver, you also notice that from behind you, behind the batrachians, similar people seem to arrive on the scene of the battle and start to dispatch the batrachians quite efficiently. And as you sort of like, you've got one on the floor, and this other one still up, Hazra, you notice that all of a sudden you notice next to your side is Lord Drystan, who sort of like thrusts his spear into the remaining batrachian and sort of like takes it down in one fair swoop. It would appear.
Thank you for joining the party, Lord Dreyfus.
Yeah, it would appear that they had appeared. Gulliver, you did see them beforehand, but they would arrive in round 2 to actually come in and do the actions.
Hopefully my shout helped them find where we were.
I think it did actually. Your shout, you should have a passion in that. Most days, a passion to shout.
I'll
Okay.
stick with shoes.
There's various sort of like healers around that have come along in any sort of like major attack here. Lord Drystan sort of like informs you that they decided to come down and not enter the swamp, but try to see whether or not you arrived. And various people sort of like hurry to help the farmsteaders, and of course Briar and her handmaiden, and they sort of like pick up Hengist, who is unconscious, but is probably unconscious. How much damage did you get through your armor on your abdomen?
Or on my chest.
Yes,
so
chest.
He's got -1 out of 8.
So 9 points of damage went through.
Yeah.
So what's that? Is that a major wound?
No, if it's a minor wound is as long as it's above 0, any positive. A serious wound goes from 0 to minus the number of the original hit points on that location. Okay. And then a major wound is anything less than that. If it had been a major wound and it had been it was in the chest, if they had,
that's when you only have a short amount of time, isn't it?
Well, no, on this one, because arms, you have a short amount of time. If you do a major wound to either your head, chest, or abdomen, okay, either one of those, if it's a major wound, you roll your endurance check, and if you fail, you are dead.
Right, well, to be fair, Briar's still got to carry him down some stairs, hasn't she? So
yeah. So major wounds. If it's a major wound in any of your limbs, you can't. You're immediately incapacitated. You can't continue fighting, but your limbs get either bashed or crumpled or torn off or whatever. If you fail your endurance roll with your head, abdomen, or chest, then you die instantly. There's no, because if you think about it, if somebody whacks you in the head, it would nicely go through. And I think that's actually how you killed people, Hazra.
It was straight to the back of the head. Yeah. And it's a good job nobody hit my abdomen because I'm on 0.
Yeah, so that's a serious wound. How many hit points do you have in that?
I have 7, but I've got 0 left.
Yeah, so you would be all right unless I took it to -7.
Yeah.
Then
which with one hit would do that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you make your endurance roll, if it's a limb, that's the one, Gulliver, that it starts to take some time. You have to heal it within, or they die because of blood loss and shock. Yep. And if a head is the healing, the time for the arm and leg, etc., it's 5 times the healing rate in minutes. And for the chest, abdomen, and head, it's 2 times the healing rate in minute. And if no stabilization's done in that one, you are dead. And there's literally no, let's roll this 3 times on for death saves. No.
But you might be able to do a heroic action if the GM allows you.
Yeah, like maybe fight. But, oh no, you can't fight.
But I can't fight. No, I'm saying in general. I'm not saying
you could. You could have done. Bless you or something like that.
No, there.
Excellent. So the Lord Drystan sort of like takes you back to his fief and sort of like settles you down right there up here, and that will seems to be a suitable time to take the break because we're a little bit over. So we're going to have 10 minutes break now. Sorry that I couldn't pay attention to chat there. It's just that combat takes a bit of time. But we're going to take a 10 minutes break now. So please go off, stretch your legs, etc. I'll catch up with chat. And we will see you in 10. Bing. Bing. mics.
And I'm only joshing with you, Mr. Pickles, when I go on about you not using your luck point.
Oh no, I think that was probably the right thing to do, but I still feel terrible about it.
I wouldn't pick.
Well, you just
I was about to heal
point.
wound on your chest, but they were stomping on you, and so
you just have to justify it in our
It's such a waste of a look point.
side.
That would be a waste of a luck point. Hengist would be going. But as soon as they touch, the thing is, as soon as they touch Hengist's left arm, that's it. Left arm gone. Hengist dies.
Yeah. Oh, Raf said that the reward was going to be big for their game. Oh, that would have been great. Okay then. So you are taken back to Lord Draystan's house, his manor house, and any wounds that you have got that needs to be stabilised will be stabilised. Mr. Who's got serious wounds?
Hengist has got 2.
Right. Okay then.
No, one serious wound, 1 major wound. Sorry.
Right.
Did we say that my 0 was just a minor wound?
No, zeros are. You have to be. The best way to think about it is that you have to be in positive numbers for.
So I've got 1 serious in that case.
You've got a serious wound. Yeah. Okay then. So you're sort of like incapacitated at the moment. You know, you're not doing anything strenuous, but over the next sort of like couple of days, which is probably wise to spend at Lord Draystan's house, Bartleby, you'll be able to cure, use your heal wound spell to get rid of serious wounds. So anybody who's got a serious wound, that can be recovered from and taken up to maximum hit points. Major wounds, of course, Bartleby, that's out of your sphere of influence. You would have to go back to your church, since only priests and high priests can cast that sort of power. However, you would be they are more likely to do your arm free, although they might ask Hengist to pay something, a donation to the greater workings of Amriel. But after, you're going to spend sort of like 2 days, so please remove your fatigue, and also spellcasters, your magic points would be up to full because you would have time to rest. And
I'm assuming minor wounds would be up to full as well, though.
Minor wounds can be cured one way or another. So yeah, they'll definitely be sort of like.
As soon as I have magic points, anybody with a serious wound, if I can help them, then I will do.
Yeah, cool.
I can use regeneration as well.
So it's only the major wounds that are actually not healed, etc. And you sort of like get rested, and you all sort of like take time to sort of like unwind. And Lord Drystan sort of like what reassures you that you will talk business after a while, but it's really important that you get well. And after sort of like 2 days of resting, it's on the evening of the second day that you're summoned to the great hall inside his mansion, his manor house, to have a meal with him. And you notice that Briar's with him as well. And this is normally you've been eating in your own rooms, but on this occasion he's invited you to dinner, and it is quite a scrumptious meal. It's several courses, little bits for each one, but it's not sort of like there's bread and cheese. There is bread and there is cheese, but then there's a variety of meat and mutton and things like that, and there's some quite nice wine flowing as well. And it's at this time that he sort of like, after a lot of eating and polite conversation being made, he gets to the point that he turns to Briar and says, Briar, could you please leave us now? And Briar sort of says, Father, I am not leaving you. I have much right in saying this matter than you do. It is for them who saved me, remember. And Lord Drystan sort of like turns around and says to you, right, I think we have the matter of some payment. Before we get to that point, could you? My daughter has told me several things about the camp and what was happening there, but she is somewhat confused since the majority of her time was spent in a pit. Pray, do tell me anything that you know what was going on in that camp. He's not addressing anyone in particular. Anybody can answer.
Well, from what we can gather, they were taken to a tower within the forest. I don't know whether or not the frogmen were actually from that place. To be honest with you, it seemed to be from some type of maybe a civilization from before. I don't know whether or not you have any records going back of somebody who might have lived in a tower, obviously wealthy and educated from our guests.
Yeah, and he has a very puzzled look on his face, and he sort of like says, "I know no tower in the Frog Fen, but we seldom journey deep inside that vile swamp. What of the batrachians? Are they cold? Are they once more being told the righteousness of this land is not up for their grubby little hands? Sorry, appendages."
We did. Well, I didn't, but Hasra killed their shaman, which seemed to be their leader. So whether or not that will cause them to rethink their strategy and they might have to elect a new leader. Well, I don't know how it actually works. But
He sort of like
probably has more of an idea on the hierarchy of
frogs. Lord Drystan turns to you, Hazra, and says, "You killed the chief."
I did indeed. They were taking your daughter into the tower and she was unconscious, and I managed to, with help from my friends, getting there and dispatch the chief or the shaman or whatever he was before he did any foul rituals.
You have served us well, Master Hazra, and it seems, Master Gulliver, you too commanded the batrachians with your powerful artifact. I am very impressed with it, and I am somewhat jealous that you possess both the artifact and such power. And Briar sort of like butts in and says, he actually stood alone, Father. He is definitely not a boy. He is a man of great strength and rigour. I was impressed how he held back the batrachians, being prepared to stand alone at the edge of the camp and summon them. My friends and I were somewhat impressed with his bravery. And Lord Drystan sort of like strokes his goatee and says, "Indeed, very brave." Like this. Is there anything?
I wouldn't say brave. I just didn't know which way to run.
Yes, well, that's not what Briar tells me. Anyway, payment. I think we should probably talk about payment. Unless there is anything else that you wish to provide information or ask of me in my service here.
There was always there was rumours of a robed man, taller than a man, but we didn't see him. Whether or not he was he was commanding the frogmen, we don't know. But that there was no sign of him in the camp.
The farmstead have spoken about this robed, hooded man or thing. Some say he glides over the ground and some kind of strange mist emanating from his feet. Others says that he can cause instant death just by his look. Others speak of fiery brands of fire burning within the darkness of the void of his hood. And yet, despite all this, nobody has actually heard him speak, or even seen his face, or, come to think of it, any part of his body. It is most strange. Do you see, he scans the table looking at you all, did any of you see this strange being?
No, my lord.
I didn't know, but it was. Well, there was. I take it just out of character. We would have discussed what other people had seen.
Yes, I assume so. Yeah.
Yeah, but there was other bits in the tower that just didn't make sense, which I can't seem to work out in my mind.
This tower seems to be somewhat of a strange place. I am somewhat worried about it. But this, and he brings out what appears to be a piece of parchment that is folded into quarters. And you notice that as Briar sees it, she almost like goes a slight whiter shade of pale, as if she knows what's on the note, but is somewhat concerned about it. And it says, this arrived shortly after you left the farmstead. I'm somewhat concerned, and yet it seems that we have a mutual friend.
How did it arrive? Was it delivered?
It came, yes. I will say it was delivered. And he sort of like unfolds it, and as you see it, it's not much bigger than something like that. As he unfolds it, and he sort of like opens it, and you can see, he sort of like, you see what's on it, and there seems to be some kind of writing on it, but you don't get the opportunity to look at it. But you know, it's definitely writing, or in the common tongue.
Does it look like it's on paper?
It's on parchment, quite expensive parchment, and it's written with obviously a quill and black ink. And it's he sort of like reads it to you, and it's very short and to the point, and it just says, "My friend Drystan, your daughter is in trouble. Send them with my friends back to Lindowe." And then he sort of like looks down and he says, "And it seems we have a mutual friend, since it is actually signed Sylvester."
How do you know Sylvester, if I might ask, Lord Drystan?
We have been acquainted for some time now. Yes. As much as I wish to say at this point in the present company.
Have you ever encountered anything else in the swamp apart from the frogmen?
Oh, there are various creatures that live in there, all quite hideous and revolting. Swarms of insects, giant spiders, blood-sucking leeches. You name it, it's probably in my swamp. I wish I could just burn it down. It would probably make very fertile land in the end.
The problem is it would smoulder for such a long time.
Yes, and probably smoulder with the smell of dying or slowly burning batrachians. And he almost like, you see the side of his mouth just sort of like grin somewhat. Yes, so you have served me well, all of you. And as you can see from the letter here, it seems that I am to entrust you with my daughter. And Briar suddenly sort of like, he sits erect And she said, and take her back to Lindowe. It would appear that there is something afoot that some of us know more information about than others.
Are there any pictures in the dining hall?
If you remember there, I think you asked that before when you wanted to know what his daughter looked like.
And there are pictures of her.
Yeah.
Do any of them have her wearing the talk?
Whenever you haven't seen her without the talk, but all the pictures do not actually show it around her neck. She's necklace, as in neck, L-E-S-S, not without a neck, but without the thing round.
But it's a nice piece of jewellery, isn't it? It's not ugly.
Yeah. Roll a commerce roll. You can do one as well.
I was thinking more of if it wouldn't have been sort of like they wouldn't have left it off because it looked like sort of like a cow's.
Oh no! But roll your commerce. Yeah. I think you and Bartleby have it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
No, you don't have it unless you wish.
Use
to
a point of luck.
I want to use a point of luck. We will.
Okay, re-roll then.
Not wasting my luck on this.
Oh, yeah, it looks very nice. You figure it's probably well made, but you're not too sure how much it costs.
But we've never seen her without it.
She even had it round her neck in the batrachian camp, and you do notice that it is quite tight fitting round her neck, if that makes sense. It's not sort of like loose. It's quite. Bartleby, you're getting some mighty funny looks off the servant as they bring you a chicken leg or something to eat, and you sort of think, how do I get this?
I pick little pieces off and I funnel it in through my mouth.
Yeah, sort of like, and they do. A servant comes up to you and says, "I'm sorry, my lord. Would you like it mashing?"
But I didn't know you were talking to me. I'm not a lord. I'm just Bartleby. And yes, I would. That would be very, very welcome.
Says, no worries. We have somebody who can pre-chew this food for you. And they sort of like take it off, and you hear that there's the old woman in the corner. They say, "Some food for you, Mavis." And she goes, "Oh no, not again!" And so she stuffs it in her mouth and gives it a long and chew and makes it sort of like.
Not
nice
another man in a mask.
Not another man in a mask. And sort of like,
on an island.
mushes it together and brings it back to you in a bowl with a spoon. It's still retained its heat. You'll be pleased to know it's a nice warm thing.
Just little bubbles on it.
Yeah,
a little old lady hair sticking out.
Oh, Emery, save me.
Hengist will lean, if he's sitting next to Bartleby, he'll lean next to Bartleby and say, perhaps you should whisper, perhaps you should have asked for it shredded.
Yeah.
And it's like and Lord Drystan sort of like carries on talking. He says, payment, I think, is in order. Tell me, what was the going amount? I forget how much I told you. That
2,000.
I think you said, Lord Drystan, that it was impossible to put a price on your daughter's safety.
But you were going to try really, really hard.
Yes. And the going price was?
It was 1,000, wasn't it? Memory serves me.
1,000 silver pieces. Yeah, that seems to be a reasonable price. And he sort of like clicks his fingers, and one of the servants sort of like rolls in with almost like a little hostess trolley sort of like thing with what appears to be 4 bags of coins on, and he takes one off and he sort of like puts it on the table and sort of like passes it to the nearest person and says, 1,000 silver pieces for you, and he sort of like reaches over and picks up another bag, and in this bag you will find the 500 extra silver pieces for managing to find out what was actually going on and another 500 silver pieces to see my daughter Brea safely to Lindowe till Sylvester's guidance, his secure building. Apparently, I am sure that you know where he lives, etc. I do not wish to.
Forgive me for asking, but is Sylvester to be trusted?
He sort of like looks at you and is quite shocked. And he said, "Oh yes, extremely trusted."
Could I take? I mean, obviously the Dreyfus is there. Could I take a look at his wrists and see if there's any sort of tattoos or anything on his wrists?
Yes, make a perception check.
Certainly. He has wrists.
Yeah, you could take minutes. He doesn't seem to have any.
I'll be watching and just seeing if it's like yes, you know what I mean.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have anything round his wrists at all, and he's got sort of like balloon sleeves that come a little bit further up his arm. You know, like a white sort of like shirt, like overshirt thing. You do notice that he's got various rings on. He seems to still be wearing some kind of a wedding band on one finger that you recognise, and on this little finger on his right hand, he has a sort of like a small silver ring, but on his little pinky. If that makes sense, you know.
Yep.
And one of those.
Yeah. He doesn't have a pierced ear or anything like that.
Pinky wearing ring person.
Yeah, and you sort of like carry on having the meal, etc. And
Gulliver will try to get as much cheese as he can onto his plate.
Yeah, and
whilst not having anything else.
And Briar sort of like sees you doing it, Gulliver, and almost like has a little giggle at you, and you suddenly notice that Briar has been keeping quite a careful eye on you throughout.
How old is she?
Old enough. Throughout here, and she sort of like keeps an eye on you, and sort of like she does that thing that she sort of like looks down and then just sort of like looks up at you like this as you're sort of like piling these chews up and sort of goes, you know.
Gulliver, being knowing how women are, has no idea what she's doing. So he just every time he sort of like she looks at him like that, he's just sort of like there with cheese, just about to put it in his mouth.
Yeah, he's sort of like he stops in sort of like mid, and then
has a look at the cheese to make sure that there's not a hair on it or something.
Yeah, that she might be warning. Yeah.
Puts it back in.
Yeah, and you sort of like carry on eating, and then the evening draws on, and then eventually it's time to retire. And Briar sort of like gets up first, and Lord Drystan sort of like gets up first, and she says, I am going to take my leave of you, gentlemen. Once again, I am completely grateful for your rescue of me, and I look forward to our journey to Lindowe tomorrow morning. And she sort of walks over and sort of like pecks Lord Drystan on the cheek and goes. And shortly after a little bit more sort of like nice port has been drunk by everyone, Lord Drystan sort of like stands up and says, "Gentlemen, I think our beds are calling us, and you have a long ride back to Lindowe tomorrow. Sleep well."
Does he go?
No, he's just waiting.
All right.
And you too, Lord Drystan. I'll make my leave.
Yeah, Gulliver will stand up and sort of like take a bit of cheese with him, though, if he can.
Hazra will get up and bow, and
Yeah, Angus will sort of like get up, stand up, sort of like nod his head and says, "Thank you, my lord."
Yeah, and you all sort of like walk out, and as you walk to the door is almost like magically opens as if the servants know that you're there. And just before you step out, Lord Drystan says, "Master Gulliver, a word with you. And you also like stop and turn round, and he sort of like looks at you, Hazra, Bartleby, and Hengist, and says, "In private, if I may."
Ooh.
Oh, I don't mind if my friends are there as.
No, what I have to say
Oh.
is for your ears only.
I didn't eat too
For
much of the cheese,
your
did I?
ears only.
If I ate too much of it, I don't mind paying for
Squeeze
it.
the cheese.
It was really, really nice cheese.
Fear not, you may eat as much cheese as you wish. This is concerning a different matter.
I'm going to step out the room, but I will just wait in the corridor on the opposite wall.
Yeah, and Shaw's, I presume Hengist and Bartleby are leaving as well.
I'm gonna be respectful.
Yeah, he's the lord of the manor, and he's asked us to step out. But Angus will be loitering with the others.
Yeah, so you sort
outside,
of like
not like right next to the door, so he can listen in, but within.
Yeah. Well, there's
distance.
two guards outside the door in any case that magically open the door, so you can't get too close to the door to listen, and you can't sort of like hear what's going on. So anything that you hear from now on, you're not completely aware of. And Lord Drystan moves over to the fire, and it sort of like stands in front of it, Gulliver, sort of like looking up at the painting, and he says,
Gulliver wants to watch him closely about what he's about to say to see whether or not I can judge whether or not he's telling the truth.
Okay, so roll your insight now. Okay then, so any time that you want to ask me whether or not he's telling the truth, you're free to do so. He says, Master Gulliver, it seems that you are a sorcerer of some power.
I wouldn't say that, Lord Drystan. I don't know whether or not you know anything about the orders on Odis, but I am merely an apprentice with the Order of the Kraken.
Yes, and yet
I can't even do this portal summons yet.
And yet, despite your lack of power, you single-handedly stood against a whole tribe of batrachians and seemed to have rescued or returned a creature. You have certainly proved yourself, young man, to be valiant and prepared to make sacrifices.
I just did what I could, I think.
And modesty is still...
It's one of those things, I think if you think about it, when you're doing it, then you probably do something different than you did.
And your modesty is a true power that you possess as well, I see. There's very few people who possess both modesty and bravery. You notice that he's fiddling with the ring, not his wedding ring, but one on his little pinky. Seems to be completely plain, just a silver band. He says, you seem to have the fortitude to rid this place of any evil, and in such a way that you are willing to sacrifice much more. Bry has told me exactly what happened in the hideous camp, and yet it appeared that you managed to keep an air of, shall we say, dignity and truthfulness to both yourself and your companions. It is because of this, Master Gulliver, that I would like to offer you something. And it is my hope, my earnest hope that you will actually join us. I have to remind you at this point that I trust your integrity, that what I'm about to tell you, even if you decide your answer is no, that you continue to keep a secret that I'm about to tell you. There appears across Lindowe a certain order that is here for truthfulness. We are a secret brotherhood. We work independently of monarch. We possess many riches and resources, and we have acquired many items over the years. We can say that we are quite wealthy, and yet we are also very protective of the lands and the people who live in and around Lindowe. There are few people in the society, in this order, and many are, if not all, secret members until you get to the point that we are revealed to each other. Have you noticed the small silver ring that I wear on my finger?
The one that you keep playing with?
Yes. This is one of the ways we can identify, but not all of our order wears rings. Others merely communicate via handshakes and or cryptic phrases. Anyway.
Is Sylvester a member of the order? Is that why you trust him so much?
Master Gulliver, as I thought, your intellect, your intuition has come to the fore once more. Yes, indeed. The two members that you know of at the present moment in time are indeed Sylvester and myself. We have been members for quite some time, and it is to you now that I offer membership into the order of truth. And it is our hope, Sylvester and myself, that you will become a member of our order, since your heroic and brave actions in the swamp would certainly give you accreditation to the order. Briar speaks very highly of you, and indeed very fondly of you. And he's sort of like, he doesn't see your insight sort of like kicks in now, and he says that in almost like a slightly more condescending way, as if, you know, not being of noble birth at the moment, or recognizable noble birth in Odes, you're not sort of like that. He's sort of like, you think he'll probably go with Briar's wishes if she desired it, but not maybe fully accepting of her decision.
And I don't know a lot about the order that you speak of, the order of truth, but one thing I will say is that I can't do anything that would harm my friends or affect the order of the Kraken, which I've already.
Fear not, Gulliver. Not all people belong to just one order. People belong to several. It's a bit like Elder Scrolls. You can belong to several guilds at the same time, knowing how you operate. You will not be called on, but we are, say, form a network where information can be delivered or asked about, and due to the fact of what we're asking you to do shortly, that my friend, my loyal friend Sylvester, will be telling you about, we have decided to offer you membership. You will have limited access to our secrets and what we can actually do in the realm. We only ask one thing to become a member of the Order of Truth, and that is to swear an oath of loyalty and secrecy of the Order. We are not out in the open. We do have various resources at our disposal. We can help if need be, but it is our secrecy that keeps us what and who we are. Would you be interested in becoming an Order of Truth, of the Truth?
I mean, if it doesn't affect my friends or my...
We are not a dictatorship, Master Gulliver.
What would be expected of me, Lord Drystan?
Share information when you can. We provide free board and lodgings at various houses across Odess. Even members, some of our members are rich and noble. Some of our members are poor peasants or people from the street. We don't look at people or their social standing. We look at people and their commitment and courageousness and how they can uphold true values that they treasure themselves.
I think so then.
A wise choice. And he sort of like mutters an oath and asks you to repeat it as you go through about swearing an oath of loyalty and secrecy. And then he says to you that you don't get a ring to start off with, but there is a special handshake, which is done by shaking hands but keeping your thumb, in like that when you shake hands. So your hand is sort of like almost like
Do
grasp.
they just touch the hands then like that? If
they sort of like instead of sort of like keeping the thumb out on top, they tuck it in. So there's just sort of like grabbing the hands.
Right.
And there's also, you might want to write this down, because not all members are known to people. There is a secret password. And so you always ask after the health of the subject's cousin. So a phrase would be, "Praise tell, how goes your cousin, the health of your cousin?" And those who are members have to answer, "In rude health, as always."
In rude?
Rude, yeah, R-U-D-E, health, as always. And this confirms the membership, especially since you wouldn't normally shake a hand. So, you know, a peasant coming up to a nobleman wouldn't shake hands. So he might say, "Pray tell me, sir, how goes your cousin's health?" And the noble could say, "In rude health, as always." And then they know they're both members of the Order of Truth. Just so you know, you will always be assured hospitality by any of the nobles in the family, and they don't have any gifts, but they do offer training and access to the resources if need be. But it's not something. It's almost like the order comes to you rather than you go to them. But of course, you can use the passphrase if you need be, you know, if you go to an author's house, a noble's house, sorry. Brilliant, yeah. And then he sort of like shakes your hand with the thumbs clasped in and sends you off to
Gulliver
bed.
probably has sort of like has several attempts to get it right because
and you find yourself trying to practice you know, at a thing, and you sort of like all of you have a good night's sleep. And it comes round, the morning seems to come round all so quickly. Magic points are up, luck points are not. Bartleby, what did you do with the potion?
I held it and I hoped. but I didn't drink it, so I guess I put it back in the dark corner of my
got
backpack.
you. I couldn't remember whether or not you had actually drunk it or not. So you're just popping it back into the backpack, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I was one action away from chugging it, though, so.
I know, you were. So after that talk in the morning, you find that a wagon has been laid on by Lord Drystan to take you back to Lindowe, and you can ride on there, or there's horses for you to ride. And you set off, and you notice that Briar and her handmaiden are with you, but they're dressed for travelling. So they have sort of like tight breeches on and boots, and you notice both of them have their hair tied back and sort of like up and hidden underneath caps or hats, not bonnets or anything. And it's quite difficult. From afar they wouldn't look like two women travelling. They would just look like part of the crew. And you head off back to Lindowe, and as you arrive, there's somebody there who Briar seems to know. It seems to be a middle-aged man. He looks quite in shape, but sort of like Briar reassures you that she knows who this is, and she gets taken away to you can remember the noble part where Ida lives, etc. Taken up there for some reasonable accommodation, and you guys can then sort of like pop off to various locations. So Bartleby, you'll probably go to the church, because that's where you are. That's where you live,
yes.
Isn't it? Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Okay then. So there will be a high priestess in that church, or priest, who can actually cast the spell, and so I think I forget what it's called. I'm just having a quick look. Is it
Heal body?
Is that what? Heal body? No, it's better than that. Is that heal body that does a major wound?
Oh no, heal body's all minor and serious wounds. My bad.
Yeah, I got a funniest feeling it's something like.
Is it rejuvenate?
Yeah, it's rejuvenate.
Rather than regenerate. Regenerate's the what do you call it one?
Yeah, so rejuvenate is castable by a priest. And this miracle heals a body location suffering from a major wound, no matter whether it's been crushed, mutilated, or dismembered. The freshness of the injury affects the time taken for the miracle to complete. Provided the recipient is still alive, the location was wounded within number of hours equal to the intensity of the miracle, which would be no problem with my high priestesses. And it will heal all damage instantly. It says that beyond the threshold, your traumatic repairs it would take a number of days equal to hit points lost on this location. So they can do that, and so your arm can be fully healed. It doesn't have any negative effects of that by your by a priest who's obviously channeling the power of your deity of Amriel into you. Now, Hengers, you can have the same impact. You can have the same spell, although the priest for you, obviously because you're not a member of the order, will not do it for free.
No, of course not.
They ask for a suitable donation to the work of Amriel in the thing. So. You all got 2,000 silver coins altogether. So you can divide that between four of you, which I think will be 500 each.
Yeah.
That nearly pays off my. It pays off my loan.
Brilliant. So yes. So Hengis, what donation would you like to give?
So we got 500 each.
You sort of like see your wounds getting mended, and Bartleby sort of like there, and the priest, you sort of like say, how much, priest, do I owe? And he says, oh, please give what you think our humble order is worth for this healing.
So-
and Bartleby's like this.
much
Hengist
is it worth?
is going to. She's got
He sort of
500.
like you hear Bartleby says, remember who cast all the spells on you.
No,
Half
seriously.
the important ones.
So Hengist will give half of the amount of money that he's just been received from the Lord. So that's 250 silver pieces. And he will also say, and you can also ask Bartleby or any of your members to call on me at any time, and I will happily come to your aid in any martial matters.
Yeah, he sort of like.
So he's giving them so he's giving them money and a favor.
Yeah, he sort of like takes the silver, and just sort of like you sort of like hand it over in some kind of pouch, and he sort of like hefts it a little bit like this and says, "Oh, thank you for your gratitude," and sort of like scampers off with the with his 250 silver pieces.
Oh, that's going towards hookers, I bet.
Party's back on.
Bartleby has a good night.
Yeah.
That's why I joined this church.
Yeah, so your priest can sort that out. So that's not a problem. So wounds will be naturally healed. So you will get how many experience points?
3, you said.
3 experience points. Yeah, so you get 3 experience points, which you can use. The first thing you need to do is up your fumbles. If anybody had any fumbles, then please add 1% onto any skills that you've got a tick in. And then you've got 3 experience points. Let's start off with you, Gulliver. Are you planning on spending them or keeping them?
Okay, so the first one I want to put into is invocation.
Okay, so
which
what?
is currently at 75. My intelligence is 14.
So that'll be 89? I think that's right.
But no, I roll a 1d100, add 14
Then,
onto it,
yeah,
and I
that's
need to
it,
get
yeah.
above 75, I do
That's
believe.
correct. Yeah. So roll away. Ooh, yes, 88.
Okay,
So-
and then I'm only 1d4 plus 1.
Yeah.
Is it?
+1 or +2?
Plus 1, I do believe.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
So that's
2 points on that. So that's 77 now, isn't it?
no, I got 3 points on it.
Oh, 3 points. Yeah. Sorry.
So that's I'll put that up to 50. So that's now 78.
Nice.
I want to do my second point on
Yeah.
that as well. So it's now at 78.
Yeah. Ooh, so it goes up to 79.
Okay, and I want to put my last point on that as well.
Okay. So same again.
So it's 79 I need above.
Oh, yes. Roll 1d4 +1. Oh, nice. 83. Oh, you are super duper powerful now.
So that would be 55.
Cool. Hazra, you have 3 points as well. What would you like to do with your?
Yes, I've got 3 held over as well from last time. So I will do track as normal.
Okay. So what's your tracking skill at the moment?
Is at 67. So you want a 1d100. Where's my hundreds gone? Oh, 67 and a 69 got.
Yeah. What's your intelligence?
My intelligence is, excuse me once.
Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
What's your intelligence?
My intelligence is 12.
12. So that's way over, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Sorry, I keep forgetting to add that on.
yeah. So roll a 1d4 plus 1.
1d4 plus 1 is going to be... Well, here's a 1d4 anyway. So 5.
5. Nice.
So that was my
Tracking.
tracking. Yes.
And you have
Thank you.
five rolls left.
So track plus 5. And then survival, which is 61.
61. Okay.
So my 1d100 is 61. Yes, so plus 12 is going to be 64.
Yeah, so 1d4 plus 1.
Which is going to be
3 points. Yeah.
Um,
So that's 4 left.
5 plus 3. So stealth, which is at 67.
67. Go for it. Yeah.
3. Yep. So,
So
1d4
plus 1.
So 5.
5. You're on a roll tonight.
I am on a roll. It's amazing. This
3 left.
packet. Right, first aid, which
First aid.
is at 45.
45 should be an easy one for you.
Yes.
Yeah. 1d4 plus 1.
Is
only 2.
I know, disappointing.
2 more to go.
Evade, I think, was one which is at 27.
Okay. Yeah. Nice one to get up.
Oh, it's my mouse gone. That side. There we go.
No. Even
No.
with your intelligence, that's not going up.
No, it's not going to do it, is it?
Yeah. So it just goes up by 1%.
So plus 1, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So last one
Yeah.
will be. Sorry. I've done stealth, haven't I? That's
Yeah.
right. So, nomadic fighting skill is normal. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. What is it
Which is
at?
73.
Ooh.
I know this is a hard one.
Ooh.
With
yes.
style and panache,
Yeah. 1d4 plus 1.
which is 3.
Yeah. Fantastic. So that's all your experience points used up. Master Bartleby.
Bartleby, now that my mic's not muted, would like to, since I have 3, I'm going to do folk magic, exhort, and then devotion in that
Okay,
order, if
so-
that works for you.
So folk magic first. Or what's your folk magic skill?
59,
Right. Roll away. Add on your intelligence.
which is a 14. Just copy this. And big money, little money.
Ooh, little money. So that'll go up by 1% for your folk magic.
That's somewhat of a bummer, but... Oh, wait, now I'm at 60. That's cool. Okay, exhort is 57, so I'm
Okay.
going to beat 57.
Yep. Nice. 1d4 plus 1.
Oh, yeah.
3 points onto that.
And then my devotion
Okay. Which is
is
what?
60.
60.
Not bad, Pickles. Yeah!
Oh, 61. Nice. 1d4 plus 1.
Oh, that makes me feel good. That also makes me feel good.
Yeah, nice. So that's nicely up and over. Okay, that's it. Your point's gone, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, excellent. And Hengist, how many points do you have?
So Hengist has 2 points of XP from this lot of missions because he's got a -1 learning
That's
cap. He's not going to use any. He's going to save them for the moment. And then he had 1 fumble in his main fighting style, so I've already done that.
Oh, cool. No worries then. Right. So, guys, I think I'm going to ask you to just do something before the next adventure, because I'm just going to, in a second, I'm going to give you something that starts off the next adventure. But between now and next time, you will have opportunity to do any things that you wish. So imagine that there's a period of 2 or 3 weeks that is going to be happening. So if you wish to buy anything, then just send me the list. You've got the books, so the equipment list, so you can buy it straight off there, a standard price. So if you wish to replenish anything, then that's all there for you. Also, if there's anything that you wish to do, i.e. not if you want to sort of like I say go research something in the book in a library or something like that, if you can tell me that you want to do it, and we will start the next adventure just by doing those bits, if that makes sense, rather than doing it in out again. And then we will start the next adventure next week, fully recovered. You'll have magic points back and luck points for next adventure. But I will just say this, is that while you're sort of like gathered in the hairy hobgoblin, eating cheese and being merry and enjoying some relaxation, you notice that a bluebird comes in with a message, and they come in and they seem to give it, he gives it straight to you, Bartleby, and that's where he's been told to deliver it. And there's a small bit of paper that you unfold, and there's some writing in it, and basically it states, in so many words, it states that it sort of like says, "Greetings. You have served me well in the past. Please come to my shop tomorrow at 10. Yours, Sylvester McCoon." And that is addressed to all of you, not just one, but he obviously wishes you to go to his shop tomorrow morning at the stroke of 10, and that's where you'll be heading off next week. So anything that you do decide to do will be done before that point, and then we'll go from there. So private message me anything that you want to do or buy. Good adventure, guys. I think we suddenly decided how much the lethalness of the combat, but gladly you're all still around, alive, and actually still have all your limbs intact, which of course is very good. And once Bartleby gets up to be a priest, then Bartleby, you'll be able to do rejuvenation,
We'll keep him with us then until then.
Yeah, there.
Unless he starves to death first. With
Yeah.
that little
Does anybody have any questions?
I have so many unanswered questions. It's unbelievable.
I do have one important one.
Yeah.
Did Bartleby become a priest because he couldn't do any of the handshakes?
Yeah. He just bows his head. He can't sort of like do this or or anything like that. So well done. So I know we're finishing a little bit early, but it seems sensible to finish it there rather than starting.
We're finishing the normal time.
It's 10 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah, sometimes I go on to about 10:30 or something. So one handy boy, Maxa later says. So let me know if there's anything that you want to do, and I hope you enjoyed tonight's adventure, and we will see you next week. If you're watching on stream, thank you so much for coming along and watching us. If you've missed any up, then the video will be up. I'm just rearranging how I actually share them with you, so I'm splitting it up into parts, etc., so it's not one big video file. I will be back. Mr. Pickles, are you streaming after this?
I don't believe I am.
Okay. I will be back tomorrow.
I'm not even.
I will be. Are you streaming tomorrow, Chugga Wugga?
Probably.
Right. So Chugga Wugga will be streaming tomorrow. Oh, I've just put Sugar Wugga.
Hey, not like I told you, you're not allowed to call me that on.
I know. Now I've just put exclamation mark Chugga Wugga, as if it can figure out what to do.
Should have just left it.
I know.
Carried on.
The moment.
It's gonna be the normal time finishing now.
Yeah. Yes, go and watch Chugga Wugga. Send him a follow. He'll probably be playing either Project Zomboid or Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. Will be.
You've got the games right.
Yeah, I've just.
Does it give both?
No, it just gives one, but I know the other one. It's Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead that I never remember what it is. I always think it's what's that D4D?
Left 4 Dead.
Or no, 7D.
7 Days to Die.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead tomorrow.
I will be. Pickles better be playing Starbound.
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows if I'm going to space or not?
That's what Maxolator says.
Typical
Driving your truck.
So I will be back.
That was fun, Chugga Wugga. I had a great time.
Do you have a steering wheel?
No, it was awful. I was doing Euro Truck Simulator and I was weaving all over the roads and I crashed into somebody and lost 400 euros.
I tell you what, that's the best game ever. That one,
I
the
had
American
fun.
one, is
What do you
great.
mean that's the best game ever?
Well,
No, Mythras
second
is the
best.
best.
Thank you.
Second best.
Whoa. Yeah, I will be streaming tomorrow ESO at 2 o'clock GMT time, so come along and join me there if you want to
Is that
see.
the Necromancer?
They're not out to the 14th of June.
Necro's and ESO.
Ooh.
I won't play one straight away because you can just everybody will be playing
It'd be like a
Necromancer.
belly button.
Yeah, everybody will have one, and then I'll wait till everybody's bored of it and gone back and done their normal characters. Then I'll play one. So I'll be playing tomorrow some ESO at 2 o'clock in the afternoon GMT time. Until then, I'd just like to say to each and every one of you, please remember to be who you are and say what you think, because the people who mind don't matter, and the people who matter don't mind. Have fun, and I will catch you all later. And until then, happy role playing. See you later, guys. Bye. Boom.